We will explore the ethical challenges involved in how we use and conserve our planet's vital natural resources. This involves finding a crucial balance between meeting human needs and our essential responsibility to protect the environment. Let us now consider biodiversity conservation, which presents several complex moral dilemmas for us to address. Human activities like deforestation and poaching are unfortunately the primary drivers behind the ongoing extinction of many species. Often, species are prioritized for conservation based on their economic value rather than their true ecological importance. Sadly, indigenous communities are frequently excluded from crucial conservation efforts despite their deep connection to nature. Ethical concerns become very apparent when the goals of economic development clash with essential conservation imperatives. Let us now explore the key ethical debates that arise when we consider the vital topic of biodiversity conservation around the world. We often encounter competing values and interests when trying to implement effective conservation efforts for our planet's diverse life. One prominent perspective is the human-centric view, which prioritizes the benefits of biodiversity for human well-being and progress. This perspective suggests that we should protect biodiversity primarily because it provides essential resources and services for human society. In contrast, the ecocentric view offers a different ethical framework, asserting that all life forms hold intrinsic value. This perspective emphasizes that every species deserves protection, irrespective of its direct usefulness or perceived value to humans. Another critical ethical debate involves potential human rights conflicts that can emerge during biodiversity conservation initiatives. Often, conservation efforts lead to the displacement of local and indigenous communities from their ancestral lands or protected areas. We also face dilemmas concerning animal rights versus the demands of economic growth and industrial development. This debate often involves whether it is ethically acceptable to sacrifice certain species or habitats for the sake of economic progress. We will now focus on three significant environmental challenges: deforestation, mining, and industrial pollution. These activities represent some of the major drivers contributing to widespread environmental degradation across the globe. First, let us consider deforestation, which is the clearing of forests for various human activities. This process fundamentally destroys natural habitats, leading to a significant loss of biodiversity and ecosystems. Furthermore, deforestation severely impacts the global climate by reducing carbon absorption and increasing emissions. Next, we have mining, which extracts valuable minerals, but often at a significant environmental cost. Mining operations frequently pollute ecosystems with toxic waste, harming both land and water resources. Unfortunately, mining can also lead to the exploitation of workers, often in unsafe and unfair conditions. Finally, industrial pollution involves the release of harmful substances from factories and industries. This type of pollution often contaminates water sources, making them unsafe for consumption and aquatic life. Ultimately, industrial pollution significantly harms public health, contributing to various diseases and respiratory issues. Let us delve into some real-world case studies that highlight ethical dilemmas in wildlife conservation. These examples showcase actual conflicts and ongoing debates surrounding how we protect our planet's wildlife. Consider the complex issue of trophy hunting, which sparks significant ethical discussions globally. Proponents argue that trophy hunting generates much needed income that can be directly used for conservation efforts. However, it also raises serious ethical concerns about the morality of killing animals purely for sport. This leads to a debate about whether it is justifiable to kill some animals to save an entire species. Another critical case is palm oil deforestation, a major driver of habitat loss in tropical regions. This practice severely destroys rainforests, directly threatening endangered species like the orangutans. The central ethical concern here is balancing corporate profit motives with the imperative to protect biodiversity. Unfortunately, the enforcement of sustainable palm oil production practices often remains quite weak. Now, we will examine the significant challenges involved in achieving truly ethical food production systems. This involves addressing the considerable environmental and social costs associated with our current food systems. One major challenge is habitat destruction, a direct consequence of expanding agricultural land use. Large-scale deforestation, for example, often occurs to make way for agricultural expansion and livestock farming. We also face significant issues of pollution and degradation caused by modern farming practices. This includes the widespread use of pesticides, soil erosion, and the unsustainable overuse of precious water resources. Ethical food production must also address serious animal welfare concerns, particularly in industrial farming. Issues include the cruelties of factory farming practices and the widespread overuse of antibiotics in livestock. Finally, we must confront the problem of labor exploitation within the agricultural sector. This often means low wages and unsafe working conditions for many farmers and agricultural laborers. Let us now consider the critical ethical issues involved in navigating our planet's water resources. This requires us to carefully balance universal access, equitable distribution, and long-term sustainability of water. A fundamental question is whether water should be considered a basic human right or an economic commodity. This fuels the debate about whether water should be freely accessible to all or treated as a tradable commodity. There are also significant concerns that the privatization of water services could potentially harm vulnerable communities. We also face the stark reality of unequal access to clean water across the globe. Indeed, billions of people worldwide still lack consistent access to safe and clean drinking water. Interestingly, wealthier nations tend to consume a disproportionately larger amount of water compared to poorer ones. Another critical issue is corporate water pollution, where industries contaminate vital water sources. Many industries are known to dump toxic waste directly into waterways, causing widespread environmental damage. This raises important questions about who should be held accountable for the extensive cleanup efforts. Let us outline a comprehensive framework for achieving truly sustainable and ethical resource management. First, strong regulations are essential to govern resource use and protect our natural environment effectively. Corporate accountability is crucial, ensuring businesses are responsible for their environmental and social impacts. Engaging local communities in resource management decisions is vital for fair and effective outcomes. Investing in sustainable alternatives for energy and materials can significantly reduce our environmental footprint. Public education is key to fostering awareness and encouraging responsible consumption and conservation practices. Finally, global cooperation is indispensable for addressing shared environmental challenges that transcend national borders. Let us examine some real-world examples of complex water management dilemmas and their consequences. These cases offer valuable lessons from both past and ongoing water crises around the world. The Flint water crisis in the USA serves as a stark example of governmental negligence. This crisis involved severe lead contamination of the drinking water due to official negligence and poor decisions. It disproportionately harmed low-income communities, highlighting issues of environmental justice and equity. The RLC disaster illustrates the devastating long-term impacts of unsustainable water resource management. Unsustainable irrigation practices for agriculture led to the dramatic draining of this once vast inland sea. This environmental catastrophe resulted in widespread ecosystem collapse and significant desertification of the surrounding land. The Cape Town water crisis demonstrates the challenges cities face during extreme and prolonged droughts. A severe drought brought the city dangerously close to running out of its essential water supply. It necessitated strict water conservation measures and exceptional cooperation from the entire public. Let us explore some actionable pathways towards achieving more ethical and sustainable food production systems. We must enforce robust fair labor and environmental regulations throughout the entire food supply chain effectively. Supporting small farmers in adopting sustainable and eco-friendly initiatives is crucial for a resilient food system. Encouraging ethical consumer choices, such as buying local, organic, and fair trade products, makes a difference. Investing in innovative, eco-friendly agricultural technologies can significantly reduce environmental impact and improve efficiency. We also need to implement effective strategies to drastically reduce food waste at all levels. Let us now summarize the key takeaways from our discussion on ethical resource use. These are the essential points and key takeaways that we should remember from this lecture. Biodiversity conservation requires a delicate balance between protecting the environment, human needs, and animal rights. The exploitation of resources like deforestation, mining, and pollution causes widespread environmental and social harm. Sustainable agriculture practices are vital for ensuring food security while minimizing our environmental impact. Ethical water management balances human consumption, economic development, and essential environmental protection for future generations. Ultimately, collective responsibility is absolutely crucial for building a just and sustainable future for everyone.